Good morning and welcome to this lecture. My name is Ibrahim Labaran Ali. The title of our lecture today is on supply chain digitization. So let me start. If you want to make an order, say from Amazon in the 1990s, how long do you think it's going to take? A week? A month if it's coming from abroad? Now, if you want to place the same order today in Amazon, how long is it going to take? You could literally get it in the next 24 hours. That has been possible because the supply chain of modern times is digitized. So what's basically happened is not only the logistics, but the whole process is supported by the technology. So we have a digitized supply chain. The learning outcomes for this module, for this lecture today, I want you to be able to understand the meaning and the importance of supply chain digitization. We're going to look at the drivers of supply chain digitization. And importantly, I want you to demonstrate an understanding of the process of how to implement a supply chain digitization program. So when I look at the definition, sometimes it's funny because it's so simplistic, but in reality, supply chain digitization, it's bigger, it's complex, it's difficult to implement. But get it, supply chain digitization is basically about the adoption and the integration of digital technology that's going to enhance supply chain performance, going to help the managers to make informed decisions about the supply chain. So it can involve use of tools such as the IoT, Internet of Things, big data, analytics, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. Now, what are the benefits of digitizing supply chain? One of it is it increases efficiency. So we don't have to waste time, in the manual processes, all those problems that could come because of the system is not digitized, errors. Yeah. If you routine those tasks, it's going to increase efficiencies. Next, it enhances visibility. In a digitized supply chain, you'll be able to see when your suppliers have shipped these items and you could be able to track them. So you have that end-to-end view of your supply chain. And also, it improves agility. What it means is if we have a spike in demand, we'll be able to see that and we can be able to respond and get our inventory in place. Or if there's a risk event, if there's a disruption, we'll be able to respond in time. And also, digitization helps to reduce costs. So a lot of inefficiencies, right? Sending items to a supplier when they're not ready, or to a customer. If we have that end-to-end data, we don't need to carry out wasteful transportations. But importantly, digitization helps better decision making. So supply chain managers, supply chain decision makers have that view of the supply chain. So you could have a manager in America can see what's actually happening through their warehouse in China. So you have that visibility. They can make prompt decision because of that real-time data. So what are the drivers of supply chain digitization? The first and the most important is the customer. So digitization, if you have a customer that says they want the item to be delivered immediately, right? That customer is telling you that they want your supply chain to be digitized. But if you have a customer that can wait for a month, it's not in a hurry, then you might think about, do I really need to digitize that supply chain? Next is globalization. So because we are able to buy things from different countries at the same time, with supply chain digitization, we'll be able to see the end-to-end, see what is happening with our various components in our supply chain in different countries. Another driver is technological advancement. So in the past, these technologies, in terms of either the computers or the softwares, are very expensive. But right now they're quite cheaper. So you could have a corner shop implementing some sort of digitization program in their supply chain. Also, competitive pressures. So if you have a competitor that is digitized, can respond to the market in time, they are literally forcing you to upgrade and also digitize your own supply chain. And lastly, regulatory requirements. So right now, there are some requirements for some certain product that needs traceability. Some also, we're talking about sustainability, right? We need some sort of digitization for us to be able to, meet those regulatory requirements for those products. So if you are given a supply chain manager and you're asked to implement a digitization process, how will you go about that? The first thing you need to do is you have to map out the supply chain. Map out the components of the supply chain, where is your suppliers, you have a supplier, you have a manufacturing processes, you have a logistics up till your customer. So you have to map out the supply chain. Next, you now have to evaluate each component of that supply chain to identify what are the inefficiencies there. And after you've done that, you now carry out a technology audit. Which technology is used currently or needs to be used, right? It's possible that you want to go digital, but your supplier are still stuck in manual processes. So you have to carry out a technology audit. After you've done that, it's important that you have to define the objectives that you want, the reason why you want to carry out the digital transformation. Why do you need it? So when you've defined those objectives, it could be because, firstly, your customer. It could be because of you want to increase your operational efficiency, or you want to increase your agility or resilience. Whatever the reasons, you have to define that because those are what you're going to come back for your KPIs. After you've done that, then you now select and implement the technology. Whatever type of technology, it could be an ERP system embedded with AI. It could be a fusion of different systems. Whatever system you want, you now select that. Then you integrate the system. So in integrating the system, you have to be careful, right? That the system should be acceptable. So there should be a marriage between your current legacy system and the new system you want to bring in. It's possible currently using a manual process, probably using some sort of, Excel, and you want to enhance or upskill, upgrade to, it could be an ERP system, right? So do that in phases. Don't go for a big bang approach because there could be disruption, especially if you're a small company. Preferably integrate your system in phases. Then you now plan for a change management. In planning for change management, you have to work with the people, sell the idea. Some people could be working for a company for 20 years and you're asking them to go digital overnight. There's going to be some challenges. So you have to plan for change management. And lastly, you might need to carry out some training and development program for the people who are going to be using that new technology. And the last part, you have to know, keep monitoring your system, continuous improvement, looking at those KPIs. Understand that supply chain digitization is a journey. It's not the end. We're talking about Excel yesterday. Today, we're talking of ERP and AI. What we're going to talk about tomorrow. So it is a journey. So plan for continuous improvement and get feedback from all members of your supply chain. And I'm going to get the feedback from you to see if you've been following. So first question, what are the key steps involved in process of supply chain digitization? We just talked about it, the 5 processes. Second question, what is the goal of assessing the current state of supply chain digitization and supply chain before digitization? So basically, we do that because we want to identify the inefficiencies in the areas for improvement. There is always going to be challenges and risk. And what are the challenges of implementing a supply chain digitization transformation program? First, you could have technical challenges between the legacy system, the system you're already using, and the system you want to bring in, you want to integrate or upgrade. Secondly, you could have issue of data. It's possible that you're using a technology that you don't control it. Yeah, the manufacturers of the designers or the developers could be in a different country, which you don't have control over those data and privacy concerns. There could be also resistance to change within your own organizational culture, right? And also, sometimes some of this system could be quite expensive and probably you won't get your return on investment as soon as you want them. And there's always regulatory and compliance issues where you have to work with the regulators to make sure that you're complying with all the laws within your jurisdiction. In summary, the key takeaways I want you to get from this micro teaching are 3. Firstly, when we talk about digitization, it's not only about technology. Importantly, we're talking about speed, we're talking about accuracy, we're talking about visibility. So have that for supply chain digitization, technology is one part of it. We're saying how can we deliver our product in time, accurately, and let's be able to have that visibility of our supply chain. The second message I want you to take from this lecture is before you carry out the supply chain digitization transformation program, you have to first consider your customer. Does your customer want it? If your customer are not interested in digitization, you need to think about it because there's a cost implication for that. And also, you have to map out your supply chain structure. After you've done that, you know your objectives before you now go into implementing a digitization. And lastly, digitization is a journey. It's not a destination. Like I said, yesterday we were talking about Excel. Today we're talking about ERP and AI. What are we going to talk about tomorrow? So if your system, you've tied it down to only one type of technology, if a change comes, it's going to be quite difficult. So understand that supply chain digitization is a journey. Thank you very much. These are some of the references. Any question? And if you don't have any question, this is my exit ticket for you. I want you to scan this QR code and I want you to write down one thing you've learned from this lecture and one question you have. Thank you very much.